Bathroom Breaks and Bedtime Tales presents Pawns and Rooks by Sevastian Winters. A Ghost in the Room. I built that boy from nothing, and the first thing he did when he got his name in the papers was pretend I didn't exist. Ungrateful little prick. That's the way it goes in politics. The ultimate game of taunting a cat with string. It never fails, though. You lift someone out of the gutter, dress them up, teach them which fork to use at a donor dinner, and the moment they feel steady on their feet, they act like they got there all on their own. Peter Merritt was no different. I remember the first time I saw him. Thin, eager, a stray dog sniffing around the fringes of power, hoping someone important might throw him a scrap. He was working as a campaign intern, folding mailers in some dimly lit basement office, all hustle and no connections. He had that desperate look, the kind of look men like me can smell, a hunger so sharp it could cut glass. I liked that. Hunger makes people useful. So I pulled some strings. Not for money, not for favors. I wanted to see if I could turn a nobody into a somebody. I made a call. Within a week, Peter had been plucked from the trenches and given a desk upstairs. A month later, he was inside the room. By the time he bothered to wonder how it happened, it was too late. I owned him. Grooming the boy. Peter didn't belong in Washington. You could smell it on him. His suits didn't fit right. His hands shook when he met powerful people. He called them sir and ma'am like a schoolboy addressing a teacher, instead of knowing when to pretend to be their equal and when to let them believe they were gods. I watched him stumble through it, smoothing out his rough edges and correcting him from a distance. He never knew it was me pulling the strings, placing him on campaigns, handing him opportunities that didn't belong to him. So when Elena Stanton came along, I knew exactly what would happen. She was political royalty, born into power like a Kennedy, raised in private schools and behind closed doors where real deals are made. Her father, Senator Howard Stanton, was Washington's golden boy, charismatic and untouchable. Elena had his ice-blue eyes and his spine of steel. Peter took one look at her and fell head over heels. The idiot actually thought she saw him. She didn't. She was raised by Vivian Aldridge, her father's chief strategist, and a woman with a heart like a sharpened blade. Vivian didn't raise daughters, she raised weapons. Elena was her finest creation, and Peter was just another boy to be used. The weight of the strings. Here's the thing about power. It comes at a cost. Peter climbed the ranks fast, too fast. A working-class kid from nowhere, suddenly on the short list for chief campaign strategist? People noticed. They started asking who the hell was bankrolling him. Peter never asked that question himself, of course. Maybe he thought it was Merritt. Maybe he convinced himself the system had finally seen his worth. It hadn't. I was the one greasing the wheels. His apartment? Paid for. His rapid promotions? Arranged. His access to fundraisers, media, power? Bought and sold behind closed doors. The favors stacked up. The debts accumulated. Peter just didn't know it yet. And when his name hit the news, when journalists started painting him as the next kingmaker, I knew the reckoning was coming. Because you don't create power without enemies, and I had plenty. The system always wins. The hammer dropped fast. One morning, Peter was a rising star, shaking hands with senators, whispering in the right ears. By that evening, he was radioactive. My name was all over the news. Longtime D.C. power broker under investigation for fraud, money laundering, and campaign finance violations. They dredged up my past. They painted me as a criminal, a parasite, feeding off the political machine. Funny thing is, they weren't wrong. Peter saw my name in print, and suddenly he'd never heard of me. He went on CNN that night, his face pale under the studio lights, and when they asked if he had connections to Marcus Graves, he shook his head. No, absolutely not. That was all it took. He disappeared, erased himself. Vivian Aldridge wouldn't take his calls. The donors dropped him overnight. Even Elena Stanton, his perfect little prize, vanished like smoke. They took everything from him, and he never even knew why. A final lesson. I found him at a bar 2 weeks later. Not one of his usual spots. No rooftop cocktails, no silk-draped lobby lounges, just a dive bar with sticky floors and cheap whiskey. He looked like hell. Tie loosened, sleeves rolled up, eyes hollowed out. He didn't flinch when I slid into the booth across from him, just stared at his drink. "You look like shit," I said. No response. I signaled the bartender for a whiskey. Let the silence sit between us. Finally, he exhaled. "Was it always a lie?" I tilted my head. "Was what?" "All of it. The job, the rise, Elena." I sighed, running a thumb along the rim of my glass. "Oh, grow up, Peter," I said. "The lie was thinking they'd ever let you win." Peter's fingers tightened around his glass. His whole body sagged, as if the weight of it had finally broken him. I leaned in, my voice quiet. "I wanted to see if I could force them to accept you. Turns out I couldn't." For the first time since I met him, Peter Merritt looked truly, completely lost. That's the moment I knew. He wasn't angry. He wasn't even bitter. He was just empty. I stood, tossing some cash on the table. "Get out of town," I said. "Start over. Go home." He didn't move. I didn't expect him to, because Peter was still that same hungry little boy I met years ago in a campaign office basement, folding mailers and hoping for scraps, still clinging to the illusion that the right people, the right moves, the right words could change his fate, still too blind to see that the game had been rigged against him from the start. And me? I had just wasted 5 years on a bet that was never winnable. At least, not on this horse. Elena Stanton, on the other hand, well, that's an entirely different horse. Same race, though, and I'm all in. They'll never see her coming, and this time she knows who's backing her. But she's too arrogant to think I won't pull her plug if she fails to cough up my pound of flesh the day that I get hungry. I walked out of the bar and into the night. Maybe Elena is the ticket. Maybe she's not. It's not about the player. It's always about the game. If she doesn't work out, there's always another pawn. There's always another game. And one day, I'm going to beat the system that tried to bury me. I intend to fuck them hard and long and lubeless, and I will succeed in that venture, one way or another. God, I love politics.